Hi, this is Michelle, and I am the founder of the Fierce and Fabulous Life, where I help women to take their adversity, turning it into an advantage so that they can live the life that they deserve. And so, what I want to talk to you today about is depression and the value of therapy. Um, Depression is such a wide um, subject, right? It covers so many things, and some people think it is just clinical depression that you should be looking out for, but in fact, clinical depression is exhibited in all kinds of forms. Anxiety, loss of appetite, lack of desire to do something that you once loved. A lack of sexual drive, even it just like goes this wide range, and I'm not an expert in this, but I've learned a lot of lessons in my life, where it concerns um, different stages of life and how you can fall in depression over things um, that when you go through things in life, and you can really have a hard time coping with that. And it could be situational depression, but it could also, the thing that I get concerned about is it can also lead into like a lifestyle of depression, like you're depressed all the time, like you're in a funk for 2 and 3 years. And it's important. The reason why I'm bringing this up today is that in our group, that we have every month, in our empowerment zone group, where we use fitness as that foundation to improve other areas of our life, we support each other not just in our fitness journey, but also in our daily struggles, in terms of how we're dealing with life, and how we're dealing with work and family and kids and friends and all of that other kind of stuff. And we try to come together in these groups to kind of deal with all of those things. So it's really, when we talk about the empowerment zone, we're really talking about a place where you can come and you can talk about not just the fitness part, although that's like a foundational part of our group, but you can also talk about the other things that are going on in our life, and we support each other, you know, to overcome, the everyday stresses. And so one of the things that we found ourselves talking about today in our group is we have a mother and daughter team that's in it, and we were talking about a breakthrough that they made in their relationship with regard to the depression that the daughter was suffering at the same time that the mom was suffering from depression, but it was like different. Is depression all the same? But it was kind of like the way that they coped with it was certainly different. Um, what the daughter revealed was that she had come to the mom on several occasions during her teenage years to discuss, these feelings she was having, these dark places that she was going to. And the mom was always so preoccupied with something else. And the perspective of the mom was that the mom, at that time, she's married to the daughter's father, and the mom is just doing everything in her power. She's working 24 hours a day just to ensure that her daughter is safe, that her daughter has three squares, that her daughter has food on her back. Because at the time, from the mom's perspective, the dad wasn't really doing a whole lot. They were married, they lived in the same house, but the dad was not really doing all that he could. He had a weird job. To hear the mom explain it, he had a weird job that some days he'd work some weeks he'd work 10 hours a week, other weeks he'd work 80. And it was really a weird kind of situation for them financially, never knowing what their situation would look like. So that's the mom's perspective. So she's basically, you know, working 2 and 3 jobs while going to school to try and just keep everything together. Because at the end of the day, regardless, she wants to take care of her daughter. But unfortunately for the daughter, while her mom is there sometimes and not there a lot, the daughter tried to confront this, try to explain this to her mom during her teenage life. So, needless to say, because the daughter couldn't get her mom's attention, the daughter, you know, found other ways to cope. The good news is that when the mom and the daughter had the conversation, the mom finally got clarity on that and understood as much as she wanted to, you know, provide for her daughter, make sure everything was afloat, and she was going through her own thing. What she gained clarity on is if she had a chance to do it all over again, she would most definitely be paying attention to her daughter and certainly listening to her, talking through the issues that the daughter was feeling, and get her, you know, get her some therapy, get her enrolled in it. Maybe the mom could have used it as well, you know. But I bring this all to say, first of all, these groups are really great when it's a situation that kind of needs like an expert type of help. We can refer people to therapists, psychiatrists, even, you know, and help people really in a profound way. So our empowerment zones groups are really truly amazing. What I really like about the empowerment zone is that we're able to really help each other in a profound way. We can talk about these issues. They're private. We don't share them with anybody. But I'm talking about this. I'm bringing this to your attention because, you know, depression is a real thing. Depression is something that you really have to address. And as parents, everything that you're doing is for your kids. One of the things that the mom said was everything I was doing was for my child. Every day I got up, I was like, well, how can I make this easier for her? I just don't want her to suffer like I suffered. I don't want her to be going through what I'm going through. But at the end of the day, like, the child is in front of you, and when the child needs to talk to you, you need to pay attention. And this is important. Like I said, they don't come with manuals. Don't nobody tell you what to do when this. So I'm not knocking nobody. I've been there, done that, you know. But I do think that the lesson to be learned here is that, and I'm talking to moms right now that have teenagers that are going through a lot of different things. You know what I mean? Teenagers, by virtue of the fact that they're teenagers, they're just going through a lot. And they're discovering who they are, and their hormones are all over the place. And sometimes they don't have somewhere to channel all this energy that they're just trying to learn about. So we sometimes got to drop everything. We might have a presentation that's due tomorrow morning or whatever for the CEO. But at the end of the day, what are you doing that for? You're doing that for your kid. And I just feel like when your kid tells you that they're depressed, when your kid tells you that they're feeling sad, when your kid tells you that something is bothering them, don't say not now. Do yourself a favor. You don't have to listen to me. You know what I mean? Go do your research. Go figure. I think that it'll be good for you. It'll be good for your kid to do the research and understand that, you know, the reason why we work so hard at the end of the day is because we want to provide our kids with the best life possible. But let me tell you, one of the things that your kids treasure the most as they're growing up and when they become an adult, what they're going to remember is the time they spent with you. They're going to remember that time you said, not now. And it's going to impact them in a very negative way. And it's going to contribute to years of depression and wondering why they're not enough, why they were never enough. I lived it as a kid growing up, you know. God bless my parents. I ain't come with a manual either, and I think that they did the best that they could. But at the end of the day, during my adult life, I was dealing with a lot of issues of abandonment as a result of hearing not now one too many daggone times. So I'm just saying, I could so relate to this young lady who was sharing her story, and the mother and daughter, they're in a better place. They're in the group with us right now. So they're in a better place, and thank God for His mercy that they went through what they went through together and separately, and still ended up being like they're the best of friends now. That's a blessing. That really is a blessing. That is God's grace in an abundant way. I'm so happy for them, and I'm so happy that they're doing this group together, because I think that's really gonna help them heal in ways that maybe they haven't explored yet, and it's gonna help them to heal doing this together. And basically, like, you know, regardless of what happened in the past, we're getting past it, and we're gonna continue in our relationship. And, you know, the daughter feels validated now. The mom is learning to forgive herself, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. I'm blessed to be able to watch that, and just kind of guide that process, because it really is them. They're doing this together, and it's a beautiful thing. So I'm glad that I could be part of it. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're a mom or a dad with teenage kids or young kids, because they could come to you anytime and talk about, you know, them feeling sad or feeling a certain kind of way, just stop what you're doing for a second, look them in the eyes and say, baby girl, baby boy, tell me what's going on. That is going to mean the absolute world to them. And just remember, as busy as we are as parents, and as much as we have to do, and it's not an easy job raising kids and having to work outside the home and all of this kind of stuff, or whatever you're doing, building a business, whatever, it's not easy. But remember who you're doing it for. I hear a lot of parents say, I work this hard for my children. I do this, I do that for my kids. Everything that I do is for my kids. Remember that what your kids want the most, the absolute most, is your time to hear them tell their silly story, to hear them tell you what's wrong. Okay? So if this video was helpful, please share it. Please talk about it. Please let me know. If you know of a busy, you know, parent that's dealing with, you know, like depression and relationship issues with their kids, you know, share it with them. And hopefully it'll help. Hopefully it'll give them some perspective. Hopefully this video gave you some perspective, because I know I learned a lot of lessons, you know, raising mine, listening to the dynamic between this mom and daughter in my group, and being a kid raised in that kind of disconnect kind of situation. So I know how incredibly valuable it is to have that. So that's it. I hope this was helpful. Please share, please comment, let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.